Hey everybody, it's Jane Johnston with the Bar Hill Group at Remax Camosun, host of Vancouver Island Time and the Victoria Real Estate Show with my friend Andrew Plank. Good
Hi
morning.
everyone, good morning. I'm on the road today, just getting back from some camping, so apologies for the scruffiness.
I'm glad you could join us. I hate doing this stuff alone, so it's great for you to be here.
Thank you. I knew you needed the moral support, so I pulled over and we're doing this.
Okay, awesome. So I'll go over the stats and then we're going to talk today about how to pre-screen properties. So your realtor has access to a lot of information of which you can ask and get them to interpret with you so that you begin to understand how properties work. Okay, so let's just go over these stats. All right. So comparing last week to this week, we had 227 new listings last week. This week we had 232, so we're pretty much on par. Pendings were 93 last week compared to 108 this week.
Okay, so sales are a little higher.
Yeah, there were almost, and then price decreases were 129 last week and 108 this week.
So price decreased.
Yeah. And but we're looking basically at 50% list to sale rate right now over the past week.
Yep.
And 60 properties expired last week, 44 this week, and 5 were withdrawn both weeks. So that's always interesting.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay. So we're still seeing, more listings than sales, and that's to be expected. It's not a this is a fairly more typical, again, from what we've seen in the past, more robust markets. This is more typical of getting towards the balanced market. So seeing lots of price decreases is, does tell us that people are listing a little bit optimistically and are having to readjust to today's reality.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Corbin.
Hello. Can you see me? No, not hear me.
Yes, you are on. Hi. You are live. Okay, last week compared to this week, month to date, last year we had 1,120 active listings. This year we have a total of 2,157 for the month of August. Net unconditional sales this past week was 189. That's compared to 83 last week. And new listings is up for the month so far at 468 compared to 236 last year. So
right, what are we at? We're at mid-August, and full month of August had 894. If my eyes aren't deceiving me, it's kind of hard to read that small screen. So so we're kind of on point there.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well. What's interesting is the total number of listings has gone up really only by about 40. So if you look at, we're coming into usually a bit of a end of summer, fall bust or boom season, a little bit of a bump. And I don't think we're going to see it in terms of the number of the listings, but we're certainly going to get people here buying for kids going back to school and stuff.
Yeah, I think we're going to see sort of that last of the summer, early fall activity. So not a bust, more of a small boom. We should definitely see the stats kind of spike a little bit in terms of more sales than we've seen over the summer, and that's to be expected.
What's interesting when I talk to people who are lay people, like those regular buyers and sellers, I had one client just complete on an offer in the Cowichan Valley. And one of the things that they said to me was the reason why they bought was because everybody else was hesitating. So we got $175,000 off list price.
Yeah, and there's more to it than just the price as well, because when there's more selection and people are pausing, you're not competing on some of those great properties that when you're looking at average price and so on and so forth and this and that. But sometimes some really wonderful properties get listed that are gems, and people are just have taken that pause, and you can go in and snap that up without competition and get a great property. And that's when that's a wise layperson.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're an interesting family. They I mean, I really admire how audacious they are, really.
It's always, I mean, that's a big joy in this business, is meeting people. They're not the same as us. They have different mindsets. Everyone is unique in their own way, but the way that they approach something might be like, oh, these guys really have a really great sense of what they're doing. And I just so admire, as you said, audacious or whatever, but where people have their way of doing things that are,
Different.
unapologetic, and different, but they make it work. There's so many ways, as they say, so many ways to skin a cat. So, and all those
Poor,
other sayings.
poor Sid.
I know.
Okay.
So we're talking today about how to pre-screen properties, right? So,
right. So it's come to my attention when I work with buyers that, and I don't know if you find this, but often when they're looking at properties, they go in and they go, oh, that's, I didn't realize that that's where the closet was, or, meanwhile, you can see here, this is a supplement, and it's client visible. These are floor plans, and some people aren't visual, I will say.
well, so some people need to get into the place to know that it works for them. I mean, everyone is different in terms of how they interpret and how they perceive and prowl for properties. And some people will not do the work, which is easy work, of looking up the floor plans or asking for the supplements. Some of the things that they could do to save them the hour of time to go, that it takes to, meet with the agent and go show the property and go home again. They won't take the 5 minutes to do a quick scan to say, actually, this doesn't work for me.
Well, and also agents could do that too. Because I find, like, once you start listening to what a client's saying,
yep,
it's like, yeah, you know what?
And that's where it's, yeah, exactly. Because then you can look through and say, you know what? I know you requested to see this one, but were you aware it doesn't allow dogs? And you've got a 50-pound dog. And, oh, no, I didn't realize that. Okay, well, let's cancel this showing.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that happening right now with recreational properties that are starting to come up, and people are interested in them, and you can't occupy them full time. And anyway, it's a challenge. Okay, so this is just like, sometimes you can have 20 supplements, sometimes you can just have 5, right? It also depends on what the realtor puts on there.
Yeah, and so if you're those who are watching this, if you're working with a realtor and the realtor has you set up on a property search portal, you're gonna receive listings. You should receive, with those listings, as they come in, a link to supplements, and you're going to get the supplements that are the public-facing supplements. So these are supplements like the floor plans, but you may not get access to some of the more private stuff that's not for public consumption, but we can always look that up and send it to you. So some examples of that might be, title is not always listed publicly. There might be agent notes that, or some instructions in there, some background information, some engineer's reports or things that may not be shared publicly.
Yeah.
But we can.
So I thought I'd start with the easy stuff, which is floor plans. And this shows a floor plan for one of my listings, and you can see there's a little circle and it shows the N. And so when you're looking at the floor plan and looking to see where if you're looking at a condo or a house, where the house actually sits in relation to the sun, this will tell you that there is a lot of unfinished storage on the right side of this property that has windows, which will be bright. And that the deck is going to be north facing. So it's going to be in shadow of the house.
Right. And then you can use that as well to, correlate if you look up a aerial map, and some of this is publicly available, even if it's not in supplements. The CRD Atlas, for example, or the various GIS sites from the municipalities. And you can see where it is on the property, on the road, and what's near it. So when you do see that it's, okay, this is facing north, what's just to the north of it, and what's blocking it, and is there, oh, look, there's a big apartment building right there to the south of it, so it's going to block all the light.
Yeah, so you do become a bit of a sleuth, and you also want to look and see. There's a little icon for a map, so you can go and actually look at the map and see if you see a double wide road that tells you what the traffic's like. And if you go to the Google Maps, if you see yellow line on the road, that means it's an emergency road for things like ambulance and stuff like that. So just be aware of that.
Thank you. That's something I didn't know. Yellow line means an emergency road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to go over this one. So like when, well, actually I have another one of a condo. So we'll do this one. This is a different floor plan provider. So they also have the little directional arrow on the southeast. And when you're looking at condos, one thing you can see quite easily from this, because it's color coded, is that the bedrooms are beside one another. And in some condos, they're on opposite sides. So really looking at this in the layout, like you come in, you have a closet straight ahead, you have a full 4-piece bathroom on the right, and then the other bathroom is off the primary bedroom.
Another thing you can sometimes see is this a corner unit or a middle unit in an apartment building? You know, is it just facing south with no side windows, or does it have windows on the side because it's a corner unit as well? This one looks like there's a window off to the left side. So is this a corner unit, Jane?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny interesting.
They don't have a lot of windows on the left side.
Right. Yeah. So it is a corner unit. Normally it would just be like 2 solid lines on each side. And also this is a very traditional type of condo. This is on Rockland. So it has the old galley kitchen. And a lot of people come in, and where it says dining room, just below that, they tend to extend the kitchen out. You do need permission from the strata for that, but
yeah, some people will try to open it up if they can get the permission. You mentioned earlier, some people don't have the sort of that visual. They can't visually place themselves in. They're not visually oriented. They can't place themselves into a space by looking at these floor plans. But I would suggest, one of the things I like to do is walk through as if I was entering the unit. So you can see the bottom middle, there's a doorway just to the right of the kitchen. And you can walk into that space, and you stand, imagine standing in that space, looking to your left, there's the kitchen, look to your right, there's a little 4-piece bath. So you can see that there's a tub and a toilet and a sink. You can see there's another 2-piece bath off the main bathroom, but you can walk through this space and feel what it's like to be in there, using your little imagination, place your little stick figure self in there and wander around. One thing, another thing, Jane, I'll just quickly say is the washer dryer is an important thing to look for if you're looking at condos. And to see if you can see a note for washer dryer in there, I'll tell you quickly, most of the time, if there's laundry in the unit.
Right. Okay. So I also went and looked at strata plans. So this one is an old strata plan. This is for the same building. And this is on the lower level, and it tells you what the common property is. And it doesn't tell you what's limited common property or what's, well, I guess it does here. Limited common property here are in the storage units along here.
So when you're trying to vet a property and decide if you want to see it, may or may not be so important to you, but understanding what you're buying is actually quite important. And so what Jane's saying with common property, that's when you buy a condo, you're buying a common ownership with your colleague, with your other owners in the building. And that common property is what you own and are responsible for in common with everyone else. If there's property that's been limited to a particular strata unit, that's still commonly owned, but it's only there for your use. And then there should be stuff that is actually just the strata. But you'll sometimes see parking that's limited common property, or it's part of the strata unit. And it really makes a difference in terms of how you can, what your rights and responsibilities are for that.
Yeah. So I went to this is a modern property. This is on the lower level. So it's showing in the middle here what the common property shared amenities are, like lobby, elevator, electrical. This is like the most detailed plan. It even shows you where the bike storage is. And the ramp to parkade, it says common, this has common property in the parking. What's funny was I was looking at a property on Rockland, and I'm looking at the strata plan, and I'm trying to figure out where the storage is, and it's actually quite hard to find storage sometimes. So I'm looking at the strata plan, and I'm like, I know it's around here somewhere. And this is in a part of Victoria where a lot of people break into condo buildings, and I realized that there was a gate that was put on that I don't think was original to the property. And I look outside the gate, and there's this sign that says garbage.
Right.
And I realized that was actually the storage area.
Yep. That's smart. And I've seen that before as well, like, engine room or whatever, mechanical. And behind the wall, behind the door is actually storage. But yeah. So when you're vetting, when you're trying to decide if you're going to view a property or what you're actually buying, reviewing and understanding StrataDocs, and Jane and I could go through this, forever, the details of what to look for with StrataDocs. But there's definitely subtleties. Ask your realtor, and but it is something you can ask for. It may not be in the common supplements. You can ask for and review, or ask us to have a quick look. Bylaws for sure are a big piece when we're talking. And do you have that coming up?
I don't have it in here because I thought it's going to be too long, but we could do bylaws in Form B and PDFs next time.
Well, we'll just really quickly say, like, those are pieces that may not, well, bylaws will be probably in the common stuff that you'll receive. Form B may not be. And these are things that you will want to review or ask us to review before we go view a property, potentially. We could find something that really is a deal breaker.
Yeah, like the Form B will tell you how much money is in the contingency fund and how much the owner pays per month. And it'll also tell you if it should tell you if like there's any cases going on, it should be attached to the Form B. And
yeah, or a special assessment coming up potentially.
Yeah.
How much is owed. Important stuff. Okay, let's go on. What else we got here, Jane?
So this is interesting. So this is like a floor plate. So this is like one floor, and it doesn't tell you, it tells you the lots, but it doesn't tell you if it's limited common property or what. So this is an old fashioned floor plate. So this is one floor, and then this is a modern one where they're telling you what the strata lot number is. They're telling you where the common property is. They're telling you limited common property on the decks. So like where I've highlighted on the left, and they have a legend. This is like the most amazing guy, whoever did the company, whoever did this. Just, I love this strata plan.
As a detail person, this is good.
Yeah, and notice that all the measurements are in square meters. So
and you have to sometimes convert. Ambiguity is, problematic in real estate. Anytime we come across ambiguity, and definitely trying to read strata plans, some of the older ones, we have to do some interpretation and make sure that that things are as clear as possible. But yeah.
And this is, it's a bit, because I took it from small, but denotes strata lot, limited common property, and then the electrical room, elevator, and mechanical room. So, and then I really like the fact that they talk about the method of measurement. So this is really important because it's to the midpoint of the exterior walls and the midpoint of the structural portion of the interior demising walls. And what that means is that if something goes wrong in your property, if it's in the wall, where it is in the wall is very important. Because
that makes a difference as to what is your ownership or not. You own halfway into the wall in this case. Your rights and responsibilities vary depending on what you own in a building.
Right, and it also speaks to the fact that windows are part of the strata lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is aerial view. You were talking about CRD maps. We do this for our listings. And it's very slight here, but you can see this kind of curvy line going through the property. And that tells you the height of the property. And you can see, it's sloping just slightly.
And that's definitely another piece of like vetting a property and like if you see a lot of those lines quite close together, it tells you you're pretty much looking at a cliff, because those are contour lines if you've ever seen a contour map. And you'll understand that maybe, okay, all the land is sloping towards this house, and there's very steep backyard, and there's not a lot of room for actual yard space. It's just a big rock or something. Or maybe it's going to, because it's facing to the south, you're blocking all your light. Or it's really good. You can interpret a lot from that.
Yeah. And you can also interpret like where your neighbors are in relation to you. So the neighbor to the left is at the back of the property, and the neighbor to the right is right adjacent to you.
Yeah.
So that's about it today, because I wasn't sure if you're going to join me. So
yeah, I thanks for checking in and reminding me. We're driving back from Port Hardy today. We've had a lot of fun up on the north end of the island, and it's gonna be a long trip. And thanks for checking in, and I'm glad I was able to jump in here.
Okay, so you guys, don't forget, every Monday morning, if you want to come, we are on at 10 a.m. and you can subscribe. Andrew and I are here. If you have any real estate questions that you want answered, please give us a call. Andrew, how do people reach you?
Reach out, please, by text or phone or email. Text is 250-360-6106. Phone is the same. Info@Andrew Plank is my email. And check out the website, andrewplank.com, for further information.
All right. And if people want to reach me, my name is Jane Johnston. My number is 250-744-0775. You can reach me at briarhillgroup@gmail.com. And I have two websites to serve you. One is briarhillgroup.com, which talks about listings and sales, and vancouverislandtime.com, where these are housed. Also, if you want to know about neighborhoods, that information's on there too. Okay. Safe travels home.
Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome. Say hi to Corbin. Bye, Corbin.
Bye.
Okay, you guys, have a great week. Enjoy the rest of the summer. We'll see you on the 22nd. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jane. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.